financial literacy, and the human condition. Welcome to Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor, Dr. Francis Rayam.
Hi, it's Francis. I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for watching this video. If you're catching us on YouTube, please help us help others by clicking like, subscribe, and all notifications so you don't miss any videos. And check back for the next video. I think you're going to love it. Thanks again. For more information, you can visit us at hugyourmoney.com.
I got to thank you because this whole project for Hug Your Money, it kind of brought to fruition my lifelong desire was, when I was a kid, I always wanted to do cartoon voices. And welcome to Financial Fitness. I'm Jay Deane along with the Money Doctor, Francis Rayam. Hello.
Hey, Jay. Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
We got a little buddy in the background.
I see Pablo right there.
Right there.
Oh, boy, this is great.
Well, I'd love to say that that's the real Pablo, but you are the real Pablo's voice. Not the Pablo, but
yeah,
the real Pablo's voice.
I got to thank you because this whole project for Hug Your Money, it kind of brought to fruition my lifelong desire was, when I was a kid, I always wanted to do cartoon voices. I mean, as we grow up, we watch the stuff that we watch and, it was like, hey, boo-boo, or, that kind of stuff. And I really got into cartoon voices. And fortunately, I've been able to do voice work, whether it's recording commercials, being on the radio, narrating books, but never had the chance to do something, cartoon characters. And this was fun. Yeah, there's Pablo and his Pirate Cove.
It was really fun. Here we are, and I'm broadcasting today from Pablo's Pirate Cove. You can see him.
Yep.
I love Pablo.
Yeah.
I love Pablo. So the reason we're talking about Pablo's Pirate Cove and Pablo, with Jay Deane, our guest today, even though you're anchoring the show as well, is because people have asked us, where did this come from? Somebody's actually said to me, I didn't get it. Are you targeting kids now? No, I am not targeting children.
Oh.
This is a free lesson for kids, right? It's designed to facilitate the conversation that parents might have with their children. This is probably appropriate for ages 5 to 10, maybe slightly older, maybe 5 to 11. Although I have teenagers now saying, I want Pablo t-shirts and things, right?
Well,
What
there you
Pablo
go.
swag?
I'll tell you, you can create something that can explode. Well, the thing is too that you and I have talked about this privately in different conversations, that how I don't even have children, but I do have nieces and nephews, and many of them, several of them are grown up now. But the frustrating part is it doesn't seem to be that kind of education for kids. The things that, I don't know, at least my generation, my father said, this is how you balance a checkbook. This is or how to save. I mean, does that stuff even happen in the school systems anymore?
A checkbook? Who writes in a checkbook anymore? No, of course not. Of course not. But
No,
the
see, I'm old fashioned. I drink this stuff. So
you got a lot of moxie, Jay.
That I do.
These old-fashioned phrases, kids won't have any idea what we're talking about. We're really not 100 kids. But, those things have moved fast. I mean, I remember our fourth grade teacher teaching us how to write a check in class. We all had to bring in, she brought in paper checks. We all had to bring in, a note from our parents that it would be okay. And she taught us how to write a check. And it was interesting because those basics are still here. You might not be writing a paper check, but you still need to know if you have enough money in your account, right? Now, at the age that we did this one for, and heads up, there may be, I've heard a rumor that there is a teen or tween Pablo coming our way.
Wow.
A little cooler, maybe doing some skateboard tricks, maybe dressed a little cooler, but
Wow.
going to grow up, I hope. So the basics are the same. And at this age, what we're talking about, even though we are introducing complex strategies, right? We're teaching them about interest, budget. I mean, these things are really boring to the average human, and we've managed to put it into a little cartoon that does not work like a PowerPoint, right? It's very light glossing over these things, but they get it. So for the interest, of course, we use jelly beans, right? What happens if you put jelly beans in a jar and the next day there's more jelly beans, right? This is how interest works.
Yep.
We introduce those kinds of things using a three-jar system: share, spend, save. And the kids seemed to be getting it right away. I had no intention of doing this. I'd been asked for years to teach kids about money because just what you said, Jay, it's not being taught in the schools. And the story is, we had a 7-year-old visiting us, and she grabbed my computer away when she saw that I was making a video for adults and said, "Do you do this for kids?" And by the next day, I had created her cat. Her cat's name is Pablo.
Oh,
Created Pablo, and to get an alliteration on Pablo, I used pirate cat. So Pablo the Pirate Cat was born, and then it went from there. I called you and said, "Jay, I have a fun project. Maybe you would be interested in doing it." And you said, "Can you be here at 12:30? I'll re record what I need to." And you did.
if I get to become the teenage Pablo, I don't know what I'm going to do. Dude, dude, I don't know.
You better start working on it.
What's really nice too is the spend, save, and share. That's something that, with all due respect to my parents, who I loved very much, they didn't necessarily put that into the mix of here's some important things you need to know about money, spending and saving, but sharing that, I mean, that's just wonderful.
Well, it's a luxury I have when I'm talking to small children, because they want to share with their friends. They still want to be generous and they don't need to feel greed. And I don't want them to feel greed. I want parents to have this wonderful conversation about how money is a tool and not how and how it should be respected and how it should be used well and how you get to make the decisions. And your decisions are what matter in the long run, because sadly, part of that share category or part of the spend or part of the save category may end up being taxes or college or something that's just too abstract at this age to talk to kids about. But we cement that idea that you need to divide your money, call it whatever you want. You're going to need to learn how to apportion your money and spend it in a way that, or allocate it in a way that makes your life better. And if you care, the lives of people around you better. So, yeah, it turns out that it's getting great play and acknowledgement. And we wrote a theme song for Pablo.
Pablo the Pirate Cat sails the seas with a hat on his head and a tail in the breeze. He's got a treasure chest, but here's the twist. It's filled with money lessons just for kids. Spend a little, save a bit, share with others, use your wit. In Pablo's Pirate Cove we learn.
So Pablo the Pirate Cat now has a theme song, which is available on SoundCloud. And when I last checked, had about 800 views in a few days.
Where though? That was the amazing part that you told me. They're listening in Great Britain, Korea, and somewhere else. Would you say in South America where it's
Fascinating. Vietnam was one of the highest numbers.
oh, nah.
United States was tops, and then we had the UK, and I think Vietnam was next. I mean, it's free music, but it's really cute. He's
Yep.
sailing the seas with his tail in the breeze, and he's teaching kids lessons. These are lessons in his pirate chest just for kids, right? So anyway, that's a little background on Pablo the Pirate Cat, but I want to talk to you about why a professional like you, who's done, at least 30 books for Audible, who's been a voiceover artist on the air for how many years, Jay?
No, I don't know. Since 1971.
However many years, right? Okay. And why somebody, when I called him and said, "I have this sort of fun project, maybe you'd be interested," said, "Can you be here at 12:30?" And we had so much fun doing this,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was all scripted. To me, that's the best part. If it's scripted, you're all set.
That's the first thing you said is, "Do you have a script?" And I said, "Sure," but it was all written in Pablo's voice or Dr. FinWell's voice, right? My sidekick, my alter ego, Dr. FinWell, who is our AI concierge now and helping with Hug Your Money, right?
Nice.
I came in and you and I sat in a booth, your booth that we see right now on the screen. And I sat opposite you and gave you one script, and we took highlighters and said, you're going to say these lines, I'm going to say these lines. And you just got Pablo. Pablo should say this, you would tell me. I think Pablo would say this.
The thing that fascinated me was at some point down the line, I got to see footage of some of these people that I grew up with. In terms of, again, you got to be my age, I guess. Quick Draw McGraw, watching Bugs Bunny, watching whatever. I'd love to pay homage to some of the people that I grew up with. There are basically 5 people that come to mind: Paul Frees, Dawes Butler, June Foray, Sterling Holloway, and Edward Everett Horton. And I think people will recognize the voices for sure.
Needless to say, the luncheon there under the trees was a great success, and a good time was had by Puritans and Indian alike. Everything came off beautifully, with the exception of one minor catastrophe.
Hello, I'm what is known as an identifiable character. When you see or hear me...
So, you're great, big, wonderful moose. Maybe you could see to it that Hard Knocks wins next Saturday.
Bullwinkle, you can't do that!
Oh, yes. Time for my stoutness exercise. Up, down, up.
Once upon a time, in a large forest, there lived a woodchopper, his wife, and their 2 children, Hansel and Gretel. It was a beautiful forest full of trees, flowers, butterflies, and streams. Matter of fact, there was just one thing missing.
So, I mean, do you recognize any of them?
Oh, yeah.
You're not as old as I am. You're nowhere near that age. But
Well, I'll tell you, Rocky and Bullwinkle, of course, right away, right? But no, I recognize all of them, but unlike you, I don't know all their names, right? But I think the clip says, if you hear me or see me, and the key here is if you hear me. It conjures that image immediately. This Pablo the Pirate Cat cartoon or video book, really, right, is not, an animated Disney film, right? It's very basic. Kids seem to be glued to it. In fact, it's the parents who say, I thought it was long, and the kids go, no, they're watching it again, right?
yeah,
There's fun pirate music under it and all of that. But I think that kind of simplicity causes it not to be distracting. The message comes through. There's something on every screen that we're changing, right? That we're teaching them one screen at a time, right? It's only about 30 slides long, right? But they're animated slightly. And Pablo is in every slide. You got to look for him. Sometimes he's in a tree. Sometimes he's on a desk. Sometimes he's behind the person. Sometimes he's doing some shopping. Pablo's doing his thing in there. Sometimes he just scoots across onto a sidewalk to show his little face. But it's really a way to disarm immediately. If we could get through to parents, to adults in the same way, which we try to do, right? By removing that obstacle, that barrier to entry about managing money, because it sounds so scary. That's what adults come to me for, right? I'm not good with money. Help me fix my money. And soon they have skills that really let them do that. What we're doing here is at an age where children are absolute sponges and will learn anything, especially from a cat. Okay. And soon a cat and the cat's friend, I think, Lola, my Bengal, who's here right now, she may make an appearance. I think that's how kids learn, and they don't have a resistance to it. They're watching a cartoon. I mean, this is just like they learn about anything else. Only this skill, if we can make it fun and impart it in a way that kids grab onto it, can be just fabulous. And I cannot thank you enough, because
Oh.
it would not have been the same, Jay. It would not have been the same with Dr. FinWell's voice throughout. Dr. FinWell is teaching the lessons. Pablo is learning the lessons. So the kids learn along with Pablo, with Jay's voice. Do you think that you could do a little Pablo voice right now for us before we
I'm not quite sure exactly how I did it. Does that sound like him? I'm not sure. But you know, Dr. Francis Ram, I'm sure people have some questions. Can we get your phone number?
Yes,
That's
yes,
a real cue.
yes, Jay, you can get our phone number. It's 413-773-3333.
And we'll be back with part 2 of Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor, Francis Ram.
Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor is underwritten by Franklin County Technical School. We build futures. Visit fcts.us or call 413-863-9561.
Welcome back to Financial Fitness. I'm Jay Deane, along with the Money Doctor, Francis Ram, and I neglected to get the web address in there. Of course, it's hugyourmoney.com, and we're talking about
Pablo, the Pirate Cat.
And now, if you've already kind of explored this and seen it, and now the kids can actually, with adult supervision, email Pablo. It's just simply pablo@hugyourmoney.com. This is very exciting. You know what you were saying before in the previous segment about kids learning, and you're. I'm not surprised because as kids growing up, and I'm not saying that parents don't read to their kids anymore, but this is kind of the same thing. I mean, is it a flashy Disney thing? No, but it's like them having a book read to them with pictures, and like it goes right along with what people are doing now. Here it is, they're on their electronic devices.
You can find Pablo the Pirate Cat on YouTube. Just look up Pablo the Pirate Cat. That's it. He'll pop right up for you. And you want the 17-minute version. Pablo the Pirate Cat, look for a 17-minute version, but you'll get it right away. I don't have children either, Jay, but I was one, right?
Oh, sure.
And I've helped raise some, and I know what that feels like to have a parent spend time with you and read a book where you get to choose, are you going to turn the page or not? And it doesn't just whiz by you. And kids know now, they're so video savvy, so computer savvy. They know, they just hit the pause button. There's a slide at the end that says, you've earned bonus questions. And there's a slide with a lot of text on it that are bonus questions. There's no way I could have left that on the screen for 2 minutes while a kid reads it.
Yeah.
But the kids know right away, hey, I want to go back and see that. They poke the button and they just go back and read the questions,
Nice.
right?
It kind of, I shouldn't say sneaks the information into them, but kind of, and they get to love Pablo, and they're asking for his T-shirts now. I don't know. I think it's going to be a sensation.
Oh, look who's here.
Oh,
Lola. Lola.
Oh,
This is Lola. Now, Lola might be Pablo's friend soon. It's not holding her very comfortably. Can you say hello?
She's a Bengal?
She's a
You said?
Bengal. Yeah, see her little spotted belly?
Oh, yeah. Talks a lot, huh? Does she vocal?
Only when you ask her questions. She's not.
Yeah.
She doesn't walk around meow, meow, meow at all. In fact, she won't even meow if she's hungry. I have to ask her, like, are you hungry? Lola, are you hungry? See? Could you hear her?
No, I couldn't.
She meowed at me. Yeah. She has food right here, by the way. Anyway, but she will talk to me about it. So is it part of something new? Well, there's a lot of new stuff going on at Hug Your Money. And the biggest new thing is that we are now available as a benefit for groups. So a school, a company, an organization can now get financial wellness to all their people for really affordable money. The same way we've done everything. No major commitment. You're going to love it, so you stay. We just talk to people about what can help their people be more financially fit. And we're hoping that that trickles down to children as well. If you talk to just about any adult, they will tell you that they wish they knew more about how to manage their money. And mostly they wish that somebody would teach their kids, or that they taught this in school. I never run into an adult that doesn't say, well, don't you think they should teach this in schools? So here we are to provide financial wellness to adults. And if it continues to go the way it's going, maybe we will have a children's program in schools.
And it's not just, well, what one should we pay first? It's like there's a system that basically tells you the best way to do it. It's science, right? It's science and math, and it gets the what you owe paid down without necessarily impacting you if you just did it some haphazard way, right?
Yeah, it's a chessboard versus a checkerboard. Now we're looking out 10, 15, 20 moves in advance and giving you a plan to help you win. So that's really what we're doing. But I too want to go back to what we're talking about with Pablo, although I truly appreciate that you're a fan of the system and that you care about helping people be financially fit and doing better. But
It's the one thing it seems like in this world of late you can control. You know, I mean, that power you can take back is more than empowering. It's like it puts you in a position so you don't feel like, is the National Guard going to invade Northampton next? Huh? You know what I'm saying?
money by
You can
itself.
control.
Yeah, the thing is, money by itself, Jay, sorry to cut you off.
That's all
Money
right.
by itself sounds like this thing you have to learn, or it's math, or it's scary, but there's no escaping it. Unless you're a monk, you're going to have to deal with your money, okay? So if we can give people a way to manage that easily so they don't have to think about it. Now they're driving a car instead of the space shuttle, okay? It's not so scary. They know how to do it. They get in every day. It's almost rote routine, and it gets them from point A to point B. That's the kind of thing we're trying to do. But I want to go back because I really care about this conversation about Pablo and about your role in it. Would you tell us when you became interested in doing voices?
Oh boy. Yeah, it's funny that the one thing that my mom, God rest her, she would have wanted me to go into art. One of the first things I had a talent for, I guess, was drawing cartoons. And I did this very early, like 4 or 5 years old. And I think I remember looking at the back of a cereal box with Quick Draw McGraw, and I drew it out, had these crayons, and my mother kind of went, "Wow, how did you do that?" I said, "I don't know. I just drew it." Well, going forward, I wanted to make the balloons, and I said, "Mom, how do I make them say such and such?" So she taught me the words. And so that kind of helped me along in school. But then watching the things on TV, I just was fascinated by the fact that, you had these characters with their voices. I don't know. It seems like I'm really geeking it up here, but I guess that's what it was. So, again, thank you very much for letting me be Pablo.
Oh,
And maybe I'll be a Pablo teenage whatever at some point too.
well, what we do is we listen to what people want and need and try and provide that. And
Yeah.
so the only thing I wanted to do was entertain a 7-year-old for the couple of slides. And I thought, well,
Oh, well, what was her review?
oh, she loves it. She
She does.
loves it.
Good.
Yeah, we played the theme song for her the other night on a
Yeah.
Zoom call. She lives in another state, and we played the theme song. And about, I don't know, a bar into it, she got up, jumped around, and started dancing. And
Oh,
she
nice.
was digging it,
Nice.
And of course, her cat's name is Pablo. That's where this was
Yeah,
born.
yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
Pablo is now famous. She has told me some interesting things from a 7-year-old. First of all, when she left here, she said to her father multiple times, "When I go home, I have to look in the freezer behind the peas."
Ouch.
Because Pablo says that's where the save jar was, or the spend jar, or the share jar.
Oh, yeah.
When she
Yeah.
got home, her parents, of course, had to help her with the jars. And then she told us that she had hidden the 3 jars and that Pablo went over and sniffed the spend jar and the share jar, but he wasn't very interested in the save jar.
Oh boy.
But if you ask her, she's learned all kinds of things from this one little video, things that I didn't put in there. Like we asked her after she saw it the first time, just one time, right at the end, "Did you learn anything?" She said, "Yes. If you work, you make money. If you work harder, you make more money." I didn't put that in the video. She picked that up somewhere from the thing,
Wow.
and linked it together with whatever her
Wow.
parents have taught her or somebody else has taught her. She started to connect the act of earning money with what you do with money. We talk about why, if there's ever one reason a parent would want their children to watch this, it's when we talk about why isn't there an infinite source of money? Why is money finite? course, we don't use that language, but why can't you just always have more, right? And yeah, I mean, Pablo tells them why you can't always have more.
Yeah. At some point, I remember my dad saying, and I remember where this quote came from, and he must have heard it from somebody. Well, I can't be out of money. I still got plenty of checks left. You know.
I'd love to ask you a little bit about, we should say the books that you do for Audible, that's your own voice, right? Your radio voice, not or
Yeah.
your narration.
Well, yeah, yeah. And I just finished number 31.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
It
great.
was about your inner child. There's one particular author who isn't that funny? Yeah.
Perfect.
This one particular author, his name is Richard Banks, and I've been very blessed. He just, you audition for books, generally speaking, and I did have to audition for additional ones, but he would ask if I would audition. I'm not saying that's a shoo-in, but I've done 8 books for him.
Pretty great.
So, yeah, and the thing is, the nice thing about this is that I don't generally do fictional things or multi-character things because I've just gotten into this, I shouldn't say pigeonhole, but I seem to be like Mr. Self-Help. It's like his whole series of books are different things, like, and I can't think of the titles off the top of my head, but it's very easy to do because you take the words and you do your best to bring them to life. Most of the authors will always say they're looking for a narrator who can perform.
Right.
So Pablo was tough. He was hard.
I think
I
you've
got to
got it.
perform like Pablo. And
You've
like
got it.
it's-
Well, Pablo's an interesting mix of a human and a cat, right? He's
yeah,
a very smart cat. He's teaching.
but
Look at his
certainly
little.
glad he can learn about finances because, like I said, for a young person, a young cat, it doesn't matter. You need to know that stuff. You can't just go around blindly thinking, I don't know. I'm just glad you're doing this. Because I think it is, and I'm not trying to say, the school systems, we'll fix that. We'll do our own thing. But if you can't find it in particular places, but I bet you can Google now, finances, Pablo, and something's going to come up.
You can Google
Pablo the
Pablo the
cat.
pirate cat. Pablo the pirate
Yeah,
cat will come up. Yeah. No,
yeah.
it's not, we're not blaming the schools. My gosh, the schools
I
are,
know.
they don't have enough money, they're overloaded, they're busy, but let's face it, the teachers teaching the schools maybe never learned about money in an appropriate way. I have a lot of teachers as friends. So yeah, I can't thank you enough for doing it because it is different to have Pablo have a real personality. And, I just want to say that you are always very modest and I've heard some of your narration, and your narration, the reason you get those books is because who wouldn't want to listen to your voice, your radio voice with your secret sauce and whatever it is you do to it when you start on those self-help books? I mean, it's very soothing. It's just great. I can't imagine listening to a high-pitched nasally voice while you're trying to relax and learn something about your inner strength, for instance. So.
Well, no, I appreciate that. It's just that when I go to edit some of these pieces, because when you read something, you make mistakes, and so you have to go back. Or I have my little trick. If I blow a line, I go so that I can go back and see that little on the digital audio thing and fix it. But when I have to edit it, I fall asleep.
Yeah, well, that's
I
maybe.
don't think I'm that soothing. I think I'm pretty boring.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. And Pablo is not boring in any way. And I hope that kids do watch Pablo and learn something from him and
Well,
continue
Pablo
to
was
do
more
that.
animated. I didn't have to worry about that. I could get kind of up for Pablo. So,
Yeah.
well,
Pablo moves pretty fast. That's how he rolls.
yeah, absolutely. Cats do that. Well, listen, it looks like we're getting pretty close to the wrap up here. I'm sure people have questions. Again, can we get your phone number for Hug Your Money again?
Yes, you can reach us at 413-773-3333.
Or as always, you can go to hugyourmoney.com. And keep in mind now, for fans of Pablo, and they seem to be growing actually by the day here, now you can email Pablo, again, please with parental guidance or parental permission. But his email address is pablo@hugyourmoney.com. Simple as that.
And he will get back to children with answers to their questions.
Oh, that's great.
He will
Fantastic.
pause and get back to them.
That's right. You will pause. On that note, we'll be back next week with another edition of Financial Fitness with the Money Doctor, Francis Ram. Thank you very much for letting me do this.
My pleasure, Jay. Thank you.
Will you help us spread the word about financial fitness? Please like, subscribe, and choose all. Thank you. Underwritten by Hug Your Money. Hug Your Money, where financial wellness gets personal.